Who did you have at 3 on your list, Michael?
I had the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
The reason why I had them that high up is because they just get them playing back-to-back division games.
Mm-hmm.
They have a cakewalk this week with Miami coming in town. Prescott has definitely stood out this year.
Boy, he has.
Was completing high rating.
Yeah, he's completed 82.3% of his passes. He definitely leads the league in completion percentage.
And they had the wide receiver thing with Gallup out for a couple of weeks. But Cobb's been stepping up there. I mean, they've been finding the wide receivers to step up. Jason Wynn got the fountain of youth. He has a couple touchdowns this year.
He's got a touchdown in each game so far.
So that's who I have at number 3.
Well, I put the Rams at number 3. I mean, they're 13th in offense and 5th in defense, so they're stout defensively. I think with Cooper Kupp coming back, I think that helps the run game immensely there as the season goes on, man. I just see them as so strong defensively, and they're number 5 in the league in defense, and Aaron Donald hasn't got a sack yet. You know that's not going to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to stay that way for long. So when these boys start getting to the quarterback, or he does, you saw what he did last week coming up the middle, broke the thumb of Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not getting sacks, he's still, he
causing chaos.
Yes, he is. He demands double teams all the time. But I like their offense. I think it's going to get going. I think it's going to be close to where it was last year, maybe better because for what Cooper Kupp can do, moving those chains and working in the middle of that field, that kid is really, really good. So who did you have as your number 2 team?
New England.
Okay.
New England, Tom Brady, the games I've seen him play, I mean, he tore up the Steelers week 1 at home. In that game, Miami was kind of like a cakewalk. But it seems like Tom Brady's kind of have the fountain of youth again. Like, it doesn't look like he's 40 years old. He looks like he's, in his prime,
He certainly doesn't play like a 40-year-old, that's for sure.
And, granted, they do have Antonio Brown. He had a touchdown last week. But even before he got on there, I mean, the talent pool that he has and their defense, week 1, they only have the Steelers at 3 points.
Yeah.
And then, they handled the Dolphins, which anyone can really handle the Dolphins.
Well, they certainly did.
Yeah, so I'm saying that, New England has definitely stepped it up. I mean, they have a drive to go back-to-back. I mean, just the way I think he actually throws the ball harder, Tom Brady, than he did last. This is completion rates are higher, passing yards, the touchdowns. The running game is still a little iffy, but the defense have definitely stepped it up from year to year.
Well, at number 2, I have the Cowboys. Like I touched on earlier about Dak leading the league with an 82.3% completion percentage. I love their weapons that they have at their disposal. Right now the receivers with Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper. Even though Gallup's out, Devin Smith has stepped right up. Jason Witten for the third downs and goal line. But Ezekiel Elliott, 160-something yards. Ezekiel Elliott's off to his best start in his whole career. But to me, it just goes back to the offensive coordinator, man. Mm-hmm. Kellen Moore is just, he is all the pre-snap movement and stuff, how they can read the defenses easier now. And, the fact that him, Garrett, and John Kitna on the staff there, all of them were NFL quarterbacks. So they can all get in Dak's ear. They can talk to him and they can coach him because they've seen what he's seen. They can relate to him. He can relate to them. But that's who I have as my number 2 team. They're number 2 in offense right now and 18th in defense. That 18 is a little misleading because teams are, behind and they're throwing a lot, trying to catch up. And as the Giants game, they pulled starters in the fourth quarter and the guys were able to amass some yards. Well, I know who your number 1 is, but go ahead and say it.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, well, tell me why you got them number 1.
The reason why I have them number 1 is they'll probably go the deepest going undefeated. Because they're,
think so?
Yes, because just the way their offense is running. But granted, you still have defensive issues.
Yeah.
But
19th.
But the Chiefs. I mean, it is an offensive team, but on the way their schedules, I'm saying that they'll go. I'm not saying they'll win it all. I'm just saying they have the longest way to go undefeated. I'm not saying undefeated team, but I say probably 5-0 before they get their first loss.
Depends on when they play the Chargers, I guess, right?
Yep.
But offensively they're a machine. They've just went out and outscored guys the first couple of weeks. They've big play guys, just you don't see a lot of just drives. You just see big play. I mean, explosive plays. Over 20 yards. They are just.
The only thing I see their issues is on the offense is kind of to kill the ball, to run the ball. I mean,
I'm saying they don't run it that well.
I mean, yeah, they have a running issue, but also just time management because they could throw a touchdown pass and the drive could be a minute on the.
And it puts their defense out there a lot. Defensive
players
get a lot of snaps.
They didn't eat the clock more on offense, and I know it's really going to make the Chief fans angry, but you need to have more time possession because it's just
give your defense a rest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it in college all the time. Well, my number one team is the Patriots. Simply fact, they're the champions until somebody beats them. But you just look at that receiving core right now. Antonio Brown, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon. I mean, those guys can put some fear in you, man. You better have some cornerbacks if you're playing those guys. And if you don't have, Pro Bowlers or at corners, you better have some defensive linemen that can get home because they will just pick you apart. That guy is a surgeon back there. I mean, just a master of reading defenses. Their game plans every week are just so precise on attacking these other teams' weaknesses. And then their defense, their defense is number one defense in the league right now. Their offense is fifth. And I just look at them. I mean, they're outside the Ravens being 1-2. They're 5-1 on their rankings. I just see them as such a complete team, and I get it. They played the Dolphins, but for when they've come out there and they just that first week and what they did to a healthy Steelers team, we thought, right. I'm like, okay, these guys seem to have taken it up a notch since the Super Bowl. They've gotten better.
That's what I'm saying. Tom Brady has definitely played not like a 40-year-old. He's playing early Tom Brady days.
He's something else, man. He just tears these. I mean, just throws to the open man, doesn't force the ball anywhere. Just takes what the defense gives them and just eats the clock up, man. Just eats the field up. Well, that's our rankings on these undefeated teams right now. We'd like to hear about your how you see them. So let's talk about Josh Rosen's going to get to replace Ryan Fitzpatrick as the Dolphins starter as they play the Cowboys this Sunday. So
I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse.
I know.
I mean, just like kind of here you go.
Yeah, I mean he's getting his opportunity to be a starter again, but the conditions aren't optimal.
You're going to Dallas,
right?
Undefeated team, and good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean last year, he had 13 starts with the Cardinals and it was sacked 45 times. I mean, this kid they're going to need to protect him. Probably keep 2 tight ends in if they can. He's seen action in both their losses this year. He's completed 8 of 21 passes for 102 yards and 2 interceptions. But gosh, just sending him out there, as the starter for Sunday. I mean, at least he'll get all the first team reps and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll run a simplified game plan for him. And
how simplified can you do if you're a Dolphins?
Well, I mean, you can run the ball a lot. You can run everything off play action, and instead of just going, 7-step drops or whatever, and trying to throw deep, and giving those defensive linemen a chance to get home.
I have found it's going to be more than a 7-step drop for against the Cowboys. It's probably be like a 10.
Be like that Bob Greasy 29-yard loss in the Super Bowl when he was scrambling.
But at least, with the Dolphins playing the Cowboys, at least we don't have to worry about snow or Leon Lett or all that.
This is just them just saying, hey, there's no need to keep Fitzpatrick out there. I think they need to see what they have in Rosen. In case if they do go 0-16, do they take the first pick and draft one of the two premier quarterbacks? Tua out of Alabama or Herbert out of Oregon. What are you going to? Are you going to waste another or spend another premium pick on a quarterback? So you really need to see what you have in this kid. I just wished it could be better circumstances, without trading everybody off like they did. But it's this one's going to be a steep learning curve for this kid this weekend. Another thing to look at, this is another rookie taking his, or not another rookie because Rosen wasn't a rookie, but Daniel Jones getting the reins turned over to him, benching Eli Manning after 15 years.
What do you think that's a ninth? Do you think it's a ninth offense? Do you think it's going to be kind of a sideshow, or?
I just think they're just, hey, it's the future's now. Let's get this kid in here, get him ready to go. By the time we, get the other pieces, namely wide receivers, we'll have this kid. We'll know more about what this kid is because, Manning right now, he ranks 22nd out of 32 in the quarterbacks in the NFL. His quarterback rating was 37.5. And, he's completing 63% of his passes, but it's just time, Father Time's undefeated, and he looks like he apparently caught up to Eli. From what I'm hearing, he said he's not going to waive his no-trade clause. He's going to stay there and mentor the kid. And somebody asked him if he had any advice for the kid. He goes, yeah, throw it to the guys in the same colored uniform as yours. But Jones, he has everything. He's a former walk-on.
Was booed.
Yeah. It's so funny on draft night, they booed him out of town. And then after watching him, complete like 80% of his passes in preseason, well, they're in love with him now, But I get that, the most popular player on any team is the backup quarterback. So, in a major media market like that one, they've got to sell stories, so they create the narrative there, and fans are, they love their Giants. So, but this one's been coming ever since draft night. A lot of people saw it as the winding down of Eli's career. So, and it's been been a good career, but if you're a Giants fan, you have to be excited about what this kid can bring. Because the kid you can do some RPOs with the kid. Like I said, you've got a strong running game. You've got a pretty good offensive line, good tight end. You got elements there for him to succeed. Just don't have a lot of weapons at the wide receiver position. But they're starting. It's Tampa Bay, so it's not like you're sending him out there against the Bears or the Patriots defense. You can let him learn as he gets experience.
And you're on the road, so that kind of helps. You're kind of away from the media, kind of away from temporarily.
Yeah, you're away from the distractions of being at home. When you're making a road trip, it's all business. You're not getting tickets for anybody. You're just, hey, I'm here. The team's got you pretty much corralled for all your available time of the day, and it's all about preparing for the game, which is what he should be doing. But I'm excited because I believed in this kid, when we went through the whole draft process and breaking down the film and watching him play and everything. He looked like he had all the gifts you needed to excel. I'm excited for the kid. I know the New York Giants are just buzzing with anticipation about finally getting to see their prize number one pick out there to begin the future, and let's hope they don't boo him out of the
city.
Yeah, boo him out of the city, or just destroy his confidence. But I think he's got what it takes, and I think Eli will help be a great mentor to him.
Do you think if they don't bounce back, if they don't start winning, do you think they'll make the change back to Eli?
I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can yo-yo the kid. I think when you made this decision, it was for the long term. That's what you would have to do, because otherwise a kid would be scared to make a mistake, and looking over his shoulder would never do him or the team any good at all.